I know it's going to be a banger tweet thread when I open it and it's got a picture of Ready Player One, because this is the go-to for pretty much everybody who's big into metaverse and cryptocurrency and all this stuff. They love pointing to Ready Player One because, of course, it's probably the best depiction of a metaverse in popular media. And they think that's what, their cryptocurrency game is going to do. It's obviously not. Anyone with any common sense whatsoever, anyone who knows anything about technology knows that's light years away. That's, it's not happening. But Ready Player One is real. First line, you've already lied to me. It's not. Other than, of course, the book and the movie. Ready Player One as a concept is not real. So the studio is developing a planet-sized virtual world. Man, I've heard that one a few times before. Dive deep into the most ambitious metaverse project. There's going to be some other people on crypto Twitter that are really upset by this premise of the most ambitious metaverse project. But by the way, the concept of the main selling point that you're, throwing out here to try and hook people, the most ambitious, what does that even mean? Why is that a good thing to be the most ambitious when the least ambitious so far in a metaverse project has not delivered a metaverse? Meta, Facebook, has not delivered a metaverse, but something more ambitious is a selling point. It's pretty crazy to me. So Project Artemis is a decentralized open metaverse touted to be the biggest virtual world anyone has ever imagined. By who? The creator... Oh no. The creator is none other than Brendan Green, aka Player Unknown, the father of PUBG and the pioneer of most successful battle royale genre gameplay. Yeah, I enjoyed PUBG. Started as a mod for Arma 3, I do believe, then went on and created PlayerUnknown's Battleground, working with Krafton, which was it Bluehole, then Krafton. Either way, it was a good game. It was mostly store assets. It really took over at the time, became basically the most played game in the world, essentially overnight, and it's one of the most fun games I've ever played. For the 2-month period that me and my friends were playing PUBG, I didn't want to do anything but play PUBG. At the time, I was in terrible chronic pain from what I later found out to be cancer, unfortunately. And I even was taking painkillers so I could sit on a computer chair that was made completely of wood on the other side of the country so I could play PUBG with my boys. That's how much I wanted to play this game. It was a fucking banger. So Krafton hired Green as creative director of PUBG in 2016. PUBG became one of the highest grossing video games of all time. Most players agree Brendan Green is the main reason for the success. I mean, the concept was the main reason for the success, I think, and the game just came out when... there was no other game like PUBG. It didn't even work super well, but it worked well enough as a game, tech-wise, that it was just a good gameplay experience. It had awful netcode, there was hackers everywhere, it was a fucking mess in terms of optimization, but you will forgive all of that when a game is good enough, which is why I have been saying, if a game comes out that's on blockchain that has all this, what I like to call dog shit monetization, people will look past all of that if the game is good enough. So I guess pointing at somebody and saying, yeah, the guy who made PUBG is making a game, so therefore this could be the one that does it. I think obviously there's 1,000,001 problems with that. But the reason we do have to point this out, that this was one of the highest grossing video games of all time, is because of the mobile version, which is massively popular in Asia. And not the PC version. The PC version definitely banged on numbers, definitely made a bunch of money, but it's essentially the mobile version that made it the vast majority of the money. So in 2019, he left PUBG development and started his own studio, PP Rod. Love a good PP Rod. I, in fact, love my own PP Rod almost daily. In Amsterdam, and started working on PUBG special projects. At the end of that year, he announced a new game called Prologue. I assume it's a working title, because if not a very good game name. In 2021, he severed ties with Krafton, left the battle royale genre, and shifted focus on developing Prologue to explore new technologies and gameplay. Prologue is a survival and exploration game that's been built on studio's very own engine, Melba. And as you can see here, just some ambience, some trees moving around, blowing in the wind and the rain. Amazing. Definitely tells me a lot. Everything I need to know. I love survival and exploration games, so if you tell me somebody who's already made successful games is making a survival exploration game, cool, I'm in. But the idea is bigger, of course it is. Brandon envisioned a planet-sized world where everyone has creative freedom. Artemis is the first multi-genre metaverse. Now, is he calling it a metaverse, or have people just jumped to this conclusion? I hope he's not, but let's listen to his own words.
We're building a planet that will look somewhat realistic. It'll have a few different game modes or ways to interact with it, but really it's just going to be a big world. And should you choose to play games in this world, we'll provide you with tools to do this. Or should you just want to wander around and find a beautiful spot and sit and listen to music, well, you can do that too. But I just want to create this like digital place for folks to go and be creative. I think that's what the metaverse should be, not what.
God damn it. So he is calling it the metaverse, but he's about to lay down the law, give a indictment as to what metaverse currently is. Hopefully he's going to talk about crypto here.
We're seeing right now, which is ways to do brand partnerships to sell you skins. And I just don't think that's what the metaverse is.
Okay, so maybe he's using metaverse in a way that isn't going to be co-opted by NFT and crypto bros. Maybe he's using metaverse like Raf Costa is, which they're not selling crypto. It's not going to be on blockchain as far as we're aware. Maybe he's using metaverse as just a big world where everyone can live in this world and do what you want to. That's what I'm taking away from what he's saying. So it doesn't have guidance or end, choose to play or not, build a town, read a book by the lake, form a community with other players. It will even have AI characters to assist you. Fantastic. The best part is it will be completely player owned. Brendan Green is infusing blockchain and NFT tech into Artemis. Okay, never mind. Everything you create will be owned by you. In the new interview with Hit Points, Green says we're building a digital place that has to have an economy and it has to have systems that work. And I do believe you should be able to extract value from a digital place. It has to be like the internet where you can do stuff that will earn you money. So I know on principle, I'm not fundamentally against the idea of this. I've talked about it before with Steam. I like playing Steam games. I like playing Counter-Strike. I like playing Dota. And I like owning my skins in those because then when I quit the game, I can sell them and buy other games, or I can, buy other skins for another game I'm going to play on the Valve platform of Steam. The reason you will always get pushback from me on anything metaverse or blockchain related is because, of course, usually the monetization is first and foremost, and that is essentially the core driver for the experience, if the experience ever exists. And the core driver is essentially, this thing's going to be worth money eventually, and we need money to build it, so we're going to sell you things that don't exist yet, which means you don't know what the game is, you've never played the game, you've never seen the game, you don't really know anything. Definitely not enough to make an informed decision about investments, which is what this is billed as, although I would, of course, call it gambling instead. What you essentially end up with is people speculating on speculation about a game, which in itself is speculation. Which means people buy in for essentially pennies on the dollar for something that if it turns out to be good, they can turn around because they took a gamble and sell that to people or lord it over you, like, because everyone loves being under the thumb of a landlord in a video game like they do in real life. And other people that want to play essentially are barred off because they can't buy things for pennies on the dollar. It's now worth vastly more money. And the majority of the people buying in early are not doing so because they're hardcore gamers that love this person's work, because most of the time they're not gamers and people in the industry that have made this anyway. They're essentially just speculators who missed the boat on Bitcoin and ETH and Dogecoin and all these altcoins and all this metaverse stuff that came out before, which is still not materialized meaningfully. And they just want to throw good money after bad, basically, and see if they can, pick a winner this time. And all the conversation around the project is, how much can you earn? You can earn while you do this, and not, this game's fun, and then you can earn as a discussion that comes down later. That's always going to be my biggest problem with this shit. I've said a million times, if they just made a game that was good, and then they were like, oh, by the way, the skins that you earn in this game, or, whatever you buy is an NFT, I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever. The game's good, I'll give it a try. If you don't have to interact with that stuff, if you have a choice not to, then I don't really care particularly. And I think most people would be there, especially if the game was good. Because fundamentally, there's essentially no difference between what Steam does with skins and what NFTs do, only you don't have Valve lording over like a closed loop economy on the Valve market, on the Steam marketplace. But if you're selling stuff before the game's even made, if you're selling really expensive shit, then I'm out immediately. I think that shit's a scam, essentially. I know people are obviously going to look at the legal definition and say, oh, that's not how scam works. Just in my brain, I'm comfortable enough to say that the outcome is the thing that defines it as a scam and not how you get there. Because to me, when somebody says, we're going to build something that is this big, the most ambitious thing ever, and we're going to sell you stuff first to do it, I've seen this a million times in crowdfunding, and I know how this ends 99% of the time. So if I'm wrong 1% of the time, so be it, I'll take it. But the other 99%, I'll be right. And the end result, whether you're malicious or not, is going to be that you took people's money and didn't deliver what you said you were going to deliver, which to me is a scam. And I use that word because people understand it as a warning, not because it's like a legal definition or something that I'm saying like, oh, this is actual fraud. It's just a word that catches people's attention where they're going to know what I mean by scam is this is probably a bad thing to put money into. So whether this is that, I don't know. That's a long-winded explanation on my position, I guess. Probably could have been more concise and probably got some more points to hit on. But essentially just how I feel about most of these essentially Ponzi schemes that also act as making metaverses or games. So the metaverse also prioritizes in-game assets created by users rather than big brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. That shit's so cringe. I already think it's cringe when you walk down the street and people are just dripped out like in full Louis or something. I understand it's a status symbol as opposed to actually looking good, but it looks like dog shit. It looks awful. Like a Louis Vuitton bag or like a Gucci something, like one thing on its own, as long as it's not like the overtop designs, like yeah, whatever. But if you're fully like everything you're wearing is from one designer, it's like, I don't know, it just looks cringe. The world is free, but it does have one rule, the law. Law! I am the law! Artemis is set in a futuristic world where people left the planet for centuries and come back to live again. Brandon is also planning to release comic books in prior to explain the story. Cool, good idea, yeah. He also plans to make the code open source, making it truly decentralized. The world is so massive that it's a 10 to 15 year project which started in 2019. I'll be dead by then, probably, so there's almost no reason talking about this, to be honest. I don't think making code open source is decentralized either, unless you allow everyone to upload the code. If the code is open source and people can do stuff with it and then you can commit, and then people vote to have it committed into the project and no central entity controls it, then it's decentralized. But if you can just look over the code and do what you want with it and then it doesn't make it into the game and only they put stuff in the game, that's not decentralized. Prologue is a tech demo for Artemis, which offers an exclusive sneak peek into the massive world, and the creators are planning to roll it in 2024. I'm not going to watch the 5-minute video. So his thoughts: I've never been more bullish on Web3, I can tell. You've got NFTs in your name. If a legend like Brendan Green understands its potential, then there's no stopping for the technology. Pretty excited for Prologue and Artemis to come out. I wouldn't even say what you put in this thread is that Brendan Green understands its potential. Unless you've just missed it, but you didn't put quotes in here where he's talking up the idea of metaverse and cryptocurrency as technology. He's essentially just saying you need an economy. And to be realistic, blockchain is probably not the worst solution to do this, though you could obviously do it in your own closed loop system, just like, again, Valve does. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. Realistically as well, anyone who says like, oh, it's been 2019, so he's already 4 years in, so that's only, 11 more years. If your project is 15 years of scope, you're almost certainly going to be off by quite a lot. But yeah, that's Brendan Green. Player Unknown is he's better known. I think the funniest anecdote about Player Unknown is when he banned Dr. Disrespect for jokingly saying he was going to like kick him through a door or something, which just comes to mind every time I think about this. But it looks like he's making a metaverse. I don't know why. I guess this is clickbait. I shouldn't complain because clickbait is what I do on YouTube as well. Everybody's got to do it. But this is not Ready Player One in any sense of the media. But yeah, there you go. Player Unknown making metaverse. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not dog shit. But then again, 15 years, we'll wait and see. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace out.